What's up, guys? Ricardo from Paws and Pals here. Today we're going to be talking about some of the takeaways from the Divisional round weekend, and let's just get right into it. So, of course, you had 4 games this past weekend, all pretty good games, to be honest. So I'll start off with the Rams at the Packers. So, first takeaway, Aaron Rodgers definitely the MVP. No question about it. 296 yards, 3 total touchdowns. He played very well. No turnovers for him. And just watching him, you could just see the confidence in him. So, it's not going to. It will be close between Mahomes and Rodgers, but ultimately it will be Rodgers. And there's this curse, apparently, that's dated back since 1999, I believe, that whoever's won the NFL MVP award, they have gone on to not win the Super Bowl, which is a crazy stat. And we'll see if that trend remains intact this year. I have the Packers going to the Super Bowl, but I also have them losing in it. So I'm going to stick with the trend, and we'll get into the predictions in a different video, different podcast when the four of us all make our picks and all that. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers MVP, played incredibly well against number 1 ranked defense in the Rams. Takeaway number 2, Packers supporting cast is definitely, if anything, underrated and underappreciated. People were saying, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have anyone to throw to besides Devontae Adams. He has no one else to help him out. But again, this supporting cast has time and time again proven people wrong. Really shut up the doubters. Aaron Jones had 99 rushing yards and a touchdown. Alan Lazard had 4 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown. Robert Tonyan, who's been he's been a great player this entire season. 4 catches, 60 yards. Devontae Adams had 9 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown. Of course, covered by Jalen Ramsey most of that game. But still, everyone sleeps on the players around Rodgers. And the offensive line, gotta give them credit too. I'm not even sure Aaron Rodgers was sacked in that game, maybe once. I don't think he was. But still, you gotta give everyone around Aaron Rodgers credit because they deserve it. And of course, Aaron Rodgers definitely elevates the play of the players around him, but still, they're definitely underrated and underappreciated. Definitely one of the best supporting casts Aaron Rodgers has had in quite some time. Young players stepping up. Credit to them, really, and the coaching staff for developing these players to fulfill their potential and maybe even surpass this season in terms of stats and, really prove people wrong. And the third takeaway from this game, Jared Goff is just incapable of carrying the Rams. He had only 174 passing yards, a touchdown, and he was sacked 4 times. And he's being paid like a top 5 quarterback. He's making $33.5 million per season, which is tied for 5th most, as I said. And that's as much as Aaron Rodgers is making. If Jared Goff is making $33.5 million, Aaron Rodgers should be making so much more than that. But Goff, he was playing with an injury and all, but still, even if he wasn't injured, I don't think he would have carried this team to a win. If anything, it would have been the defense, but Matt LaFleur had a great game plan to face the defense. But Jared Goff, again, just something has switched off for him since they went to the Super Bowl. And I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's confidence. Maybe it's just a lack of understanding with or lack of chemistry with players. I'm not too sure. So Jared Goff hasn't been playing like a top 5 quarterback um, at all this season. And again, it showed in the playoffs. So if I'm a Rams fan, I'm probably thinking to myself, is Jared Goff good enough to win us a Super Bowl? And I know that might not be exactly the best question right now because you already have so much money invested in him, but I mean, he already made it to the Super Bowl, and he only managed to. What, the Rams only managed 3 points against him? Sure, it was the Patriots and the really good defense, but still, you would think that he would do more than what he did in that Super Bowl. He missed a lot of throws in that Super Bowl, and I think since then, like I said, he just hasn't been the same. I don't know if it's defenses figuring out Sean McVay's offense or if it's a bit of both, really. But something has to change, and I don't know what that is. It might have to be, I don't know, just the coaching style, coaching change, or something like that. Coaching change in like the quarterback, not head coach. I mean just, um, like offensive coordinator or quarterbacks coach or things like that. But still, Jared Goff has been underwhelming this season and has been for the last couple seasons, really. So let's move on to the Ravens and Bills. Sort of similar to Jared Goff, Lamar Jackson also is just incapable of coming from behind. Not necessarily that he can't win games, it's just that coming from behind is a struggle because the Ravens offense works, functions, and it really depends on the run game, the rushing attack. And sure, Lamar Jackson has his haters and all. I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying he has more to prove in terms of throwing the ball because that's what quarterbacks are meant to do. It's just in that game against the Bills, didn't really ever get into rhythm. The Bills defense had him locked up running the ball. And, they lost that game 17-3. And yes, he also got knocked out of the game, I believe at the end of the third quarter. But still, let's think back to that drive when he threw a pick six. They were inside the red zone. It was a bad read, really, from Lamar. And, I guess he has more to prove, but because he's still young and all. And he did win MVP last year. But still, I have my questions with him in terms of being able to win the big game similar to Jared Goff. And I'm just curious as to like how much money he'll get paid compared to Goff. And I mean, it was on full display. And even against the Titans when they had one of the worst defenses in the entire league. They only managed to put up 20 points. I was expecting them to put up somewhere like between 28 and 35 points, somewhere in that range, and they couldn't even get that. He had 162 yards, an interception, 34 rushing yards, and yeah, he was shut down by the Bills. And again, Lamar Jackson has a lot to prove still, but I think he will at some point. I'm optimistic for him. I'm not hating on him at all. Just needs to prove it to people, to me. Second takeaway from that game, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, their connection might be even better than Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. I mean, on a personal level, it definitely is. Mainly because they're both young, and obviously Aaron Rodgers is 37 years old. Devontae Adams is, 10 years younger than him or something. Of course, they're not going to be like, all buddy like brothers necessarily like Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, but still, Diggs led the league in receiving. I think in receptions as well. And in that game, he was matched up against Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey throughout most of that game. He still had 8 receptions, 106 yards, 1 touchdown. And Josh Allen, of course, 23 of 37, 206 yards, 1 TD. Still, I mean, their connection is just scary. Like, how do you defend it? It's like, can you really defend it? Because Stephon Diggs is such a good route runner, such a polished player, and Josh Allen is playing with the utmost confidence right now, almost as if he were an MVP candidate. I mean, some people might consider that, but still, I mean, Bills Mafia must be like head over heels with this duo, and it was again on full display in that game too. Like, it's so hard to stop these two. So it's a hot take, maybe not that hot of a take that their connection is better than Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, but still, very, very special connection that they have together. And then the third takeaway, I'm gonna just go to the kicking on both sides. Buffalo's weather is just a different animal. I mean, there were 3 missed kicks, 3 missed field goals in that game. 2 from Justin Tucker, and he rarely misses. The fact that he missed 2 is like once in a lifetime, almost. I can't even remember the last time he missed 2 field goals. I mean, the wind was howling, and just like the uprights were moving, the ball was, like when the ball was in the air after the kick, it was just like, you could tell the wind had a huge factor in it. So yeah, Tyler Bass also missed 1. And, of course, the score would have been, what, 20 to 9? Still would not have been enough. But it might have given the Ravens more of a chance to at least keep that game close. But still, yeah, that weather in Buffalo is just a different animal. Alright, Sunday's games. Browns and Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs' offense is explosive and just incredibly difficult to stop with all the weapons they have. Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman. Obviously, Edwards-Helaire didn't play. Still, very promising rookie. Le'Veon Bell even had his role. I mean, the list goes on. And when you have Patrick Mahomes, of course, yeah, he was knocked out of the game. But still, like, the supporting cast around Chad Henne when he came into the game stepped up, and they won the game. And it's like, how do you stop them? If you game plan for Travis Kelce, they're just going to go to Tyreek or the other receivers. If you game plan for Tyreek Hill, they're going to go up the middle, up the seams with Travis Kelce. I mean, it's just incredibly difficult to shut them all down. I'm just trying to think if the Rams would have been able to do it, but I don't know. I don't think they would have been, but yeah, definitely the biggest takeaway. I mean, that's not even new. That's just how they've been over the course of the last couple of seasons with Mahomes at the helm. Let's see. The Chiefs' offense had 450 yards of offense. And their longest plays, 42, 26, 24 yards. Yeah, good luck stopping them for anyone. The Bills are going to have their hands full. But it should be fun when they play in the championship game. Also, Andy Reid is fearless. He went for it twice on 4th and inches, converted both. And the first one was after Patrick Mahomes got hurt. They fell short. It was 4th and inches. Chad Henne just came into the game. I think it was a quarterback sneak. I don't remember exactly, but they converted. Ended up scoring, I believe, a field goal on that play, on that drive, I mean. And then, of course, the last play, the last 2 plays of the game, Chad Henne ran for almost the first down. He fell just short. 4th and inches again. Andy Reid, I don't know why. I would never have done this in a million years if I was an offensive play caller. I would not have thrown the ball there. I would have just ran a QB sneak and that's it. Hope for the best. Hope Chad Henne gets it. But no, he decides to roll out Chad Henne to the right. Tyreek Hill open in the flat. Just threw it to him, completed. Tyreek Hill falls in bounds. and that's it. That's game. Like, I would never have thought that. I would never have done that. Like, that just takes guts and balls, for lack of a better term, I guess. So, I mean, you even saw in the Super Bowl when he ran the wasp play, the famous. I think it was 3rd and 15 or 4th and 15, where that huge 44-yard reception to Tyreek Hill when they were down against the Niners. I mean, even that took guts because that needed time to develop, and Mahomes couldn't even step into his throw when he threw it. But still, calling plays like that just takes confidence in your quarterback, confidence in your coaching staff, confidence all around. And Andy Reid seriously is just fearless. And I honestly love seeing that. Even if it didn't work. I mean, yeah, I would have criticized him if it didn't work, but still, it did. And yeah, third takeaway, the Browns will have Kevin Stefanski for years to come. I think they have their guy. He's changed the culture. I mean, he works to Baker's strengths, rolling him out of the pocket, bootlegs, quick passes, relying on the run game, play action. I mean, the Browns fans should be optimistic. They should have hope that this team can maybe, have a similar run to this, if not a deeper run than what they had. And they weren't even that far off from coming back against the Chiefs. Sure, Mahomes again got injured and whatever, suffered a concussion, but they still had a chance. And that's huge for any organization. If you're in every game, if you're competitive, even if you lose but you're down by a possession or so, that is huge. Instead of, if you're getting blown out like the Jets or something, that's just like demoralizing. Whereas if you're down by a field goal, you're down by a touchdown, or something like that, as long as you have a chance, that's huge. That's literally Kevin Stefanski, and he just seems so calm. Just so calm and collected when he's calling plays. He's never afraid to take risks or anything. And I think Baker Mayfield in that game played better than people think and better than what his stats say. But Kevin Stefanski's going to be there a while. Sorry, Nick, but he will be there for years to come, and you're going to have to deal with it every time you play against them, because they're going to be a tough team. Stefanski knows how to coach. I can say that much. Finally, the Bucs Saints. The Bucs defense caused a bunch of nightmares to Drew Brees in the offense, forced 3 interceptions, a forced fumble, held the Saints to less than 300 yards of offense. Stars at all 3 levels of defense. They have Jason Pierre-Paul up front. Ndamukong Suh, who we don't talk about that much now, but he's still a key part of that defensive front. Devin White, Levante David, those 2 linebackers are just something else, flying all over the field. Then you have Antoine Winfield, the safety. I mean, he's a rookie, and it seems like he's been playing in this league for a while now. And, I mean, Todd Bowles has coached him up very well. And, the run defense, number 1 in the league, 2nd year in a row. This Bucs defense also forced, I think, 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions against Aaron Rodgers when they played back during the regular season. So this defense is playing with confidence, especially after doing this against Drew Brees. And they got blown out by them twice during the regular season. So if you think this is going to be a cakewalk for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers to get to the Super Bowl, you're definitely wrong. This defense is going to make it tough again for Aaron Rodgers. I think it'll be very close, personally. Again, won't make my pick yet, even though I kind of already spoiled it, but still. That defense is really, really special, and a good mix of youth and veterans. So, yeah, it's almost like a perfect blend, really, of what you would ask for in a defense. Then Tom Brady, my second takeaway, he just knows how to get the job done. Sure, he didn't have a super stat line or anything. He only had 199 passing yards, but he did help the offense score 21 points off turnovers. He also didn't have a single turnover versus that Saints defense, as opposed to the first two regular season games against the Saints. I believe he had at least one in both games, but he kept the ball out of harm's way, threw 2 TDs, and he just did enough to win. Sometimes that's all you have to do to win a game. If you do enough, don't turn the ball over, then that's that. They won 30-20. Sure, the defense carried them, but Brady did his job as well. So kudos to him, really. I mean, he's been doing it for a long time. Going to his 14th conference championship. I mean, that's unheard of. No one other player has done that, or I don't think any other player will do that. Maybe Mahomes, give him like 10 years. No, not even. It'd be 15 years to do that. But still, Brady just knows how to get it done, period. And then finally, Drew Brees looked mortal. My final takeaway, 19 of 34, 134 yards, a touchdown, 3 interceptions. 2 of them were just really bad. 38.1 passer rating. I mean, he really was... Sure, Sean Payton knows that Drew Brees doesn't have the arm strength that he used to have, but it's almost kind of boring to watch the Saints offense. It's like dink and dunk, like short completions. Rely on your receivers, on your playmakers to extend plays, to break tackles, to do all these other things. But, the Bucs defense rallied. And so, I think Brees only had like 5 yards per attempt or something like that. I mean, that's horrible. The average is 7 yards per attempt, somewhere in that range. And he's a full 2 yards short of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer. First ballot Hall of Famer, no question. But, in that game, Drew Brees, I mean, the offense just didn't look like they were on the same page for a lot of the game, like most of that game, and on the certain plays where there were turnovers. But still, you would have figured that Sean Payton and Drew Brees would have had this offense clicking on all cylinders this late in the season, especially. This is when you're supposed to hit your stride. This is when you're supposed to be at your best. But Drew Brees and the offense just weren't. It's that simple, and that's how they lost the game. Silly turnovers. You only had one explosive play, and Drew Brees wasn't even in that. They had the 56-yard touchdown to Traquan Smith. That was Jameis Winston who threw that ball. Drew Brees, I'm not even sure he would have made it that far. Maybe he would have, and it would have been underthrown. I don't know. Still, it's a shame he might go out like this. He hasn't confirmed anything yet, but sure, people are already saying he's going to retire. People close to him are saying that. But still, Drew Brees just didn't do enough like Brady did. And that's how the Bucs won the game. So, I mean, I think it was Brees' last game. Just based off the things he was doing, like looking at the Superdome one last time, blowing kisses to the crowd, hanging out with Tom Brady after the game. And, I mean, he seemed emotional too. But, I mean, he's had a prolific career. He's had, the statistical records that he holds right now, it's just, I don't know if they'll ever be matched, surpassed, who knows. But one thing is for sure, he's a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer, no question. And, it's sad when, legends like Brees retire from the game. It's just like, sometimes you take those things for granted. But, I'm not a Saints fan or anything, but still just watching him play, I felt something different. Something, like, I don't know. There's just this feeling. It's like, oh, this guy has done so much for this organization. He's done so much for his career. He's He's proven people wrong for his height, for his arm strength, for all this. You know, he's a Hall of Famer. So, if this really is it, then I'll always look back on some of these games, like and some of his best games, and just say, you know what, he will never be mad. I mean, maybe Tom Brady will, but he is a top 5 quarterback all time, I think, despite only winning 1 Super Bowl. But it's not all about Super Bowls necessarily. But if this is it, congrats on a great career, Drew. Not that he's going to hear this, but yeah. With that, yeah. Those were the takeaways, my takeaways from Divisional Round Weekend. And I'll do something similar to this next week after Championship Sunday. So be sure to subscribe, follow us on Instagram, pause_and_pals, Twitter. I mean, I'll put links in the description and all that. But yeah, expect another podcast similar to this. It might be on a different topic, might be Deshaun Watson and Carson Wentz, but definitely expect another podcast/video on our picks for Championship Sunday with the 4 of us. I'm Ricardo, and I will see you guys soon.